everybody, and welcome to GenFriends. I'm your host, Cheri Hudson, Passey from Carolina Girl Genealogy, and we've got this fabulous panel and a very special guest, so I'm so excited about that. Let me introduce our panel before we get to our guests. We've got Bernice Bennett from Genealogist. Hey, Bernice.
Hello, everyone.
So glad you're here. This is going to be a fun night. We've got Laura Hedgecock from Treasure Chest of Memories. Hey, Laura.
Hi, everybody.
I'm glad you're here too. We've got Mary Kircher Roddy from MKR Genealogy. Hey, Mary.
Hi, everybody. Great to be here.
So glad you're here. And last but not least for the panel is our archive lady herself, Melissa Barker. Hey, Melissa.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here tonight.
This is a fun night. I'm glad you're here too, Melissa. This is a wonderful night because we have, you know, guys, how much we love relative race. And so we've been covering, and we're going to talk about day 9 with none other than Pamela from Team Black, season 8 of Relative Race. We are so happy that you're here. And unfortunately, Christine couldn't be with us tonight, but that means you can tell us all about, you know, the dirt on her on the
Right, exactly. Right.
We won't tell her. Nobody watches this, so it's okay. So nobody will ever know what you say. Well, I thought before we really start digging into your story, we'll go over, day 9 was just fabulous. It was just fabulous. Have you been able to actually watch it, Pamela, to see everything that happened with the other teams? And it's okay if you haven't, but
yes, ma'am. I did watch it. I actually I had to work when it aired, but I watched it on my break. So, I wasn't gonna miss it. I did watch the whole episode, and it was it was just fantastic for all of us.
I know. Do you cry when you're at work?
Oh yeah. I cry. I mean, I go prepared. I have my phone, my tissue, you know, I have my mask because, you know, I'm in the medical field, so I have to wear a mask at work. I have extra masks because I wet it. Like, I mean, I go prepared. I know what to do on Sunday nights when I'm scheduled to work. So I've got a system. But yes, absolutely. It's just something that I think you, as a normal human being with compassion, you can't help it. You know, you can't help it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then I actually have my coworkers watching too. So we're all at work crying.
Yes, we're all crying. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're all at work crying.
Well, that was kind of what my question was about, was, you know, your work fan club. So you've got a little, the Relative Race Watchers Club. And do they want the dirt on everything?
Yeah, so it's funny because, like, I'm just a normal, regular person. And I guess normal is up for debate, but, you know.
That's how we all feel about ourselves, so.
Right. So everybody at work is always like, oh my gosh, you're on TV, you know, and you know, they think it's much more, not that it isn't a big deal, because it is. It's been such a great experience, and it's been fun. It's been such a fun experience. But they definitely feed into the kind of like media thing, because for them it's exciting to know somebody that's on TV. It just makes it that much more cute of the experience. So I play with them, and they joke with me and stuff like that too, and we talk a lot. You know, look. Some of my coworkers, I've been working with them a long time. Fantastic nurses, fantastic respiratory therapists, fantastic charge nurses, and we have relationships. So they have questions. You know, they watch the episodes and they have questions, and we talk about it. So it really has been. It's been such a great journey all the way around, and being able to share my information with other people, and then they're like, oh, well, I have this about my life, and I have this about my, you know, they start sharing with me about their stories and their lives, and maybe their fathers or mothers, and so it really goes beyond just the show, you know.
So do you have to like put them off and say, well, I can't answer that this week, but I can talk to you about it next week or something?
Well, for the sake of not spoiling, I do that. I will tell them, I say, well, wait till after next week and I'll answer more questions, you know. Just out of respect for people that want to watch it, but also because like I tell them, if you are watching it, I don't want to spoil it for you.
Oh, exactly.
So I do kind of say that in a general aspect to everybody. Mm-hmm.
Laura, you had a question?
Yes. Pamela, what was, I know you didn't know exactly what to expect, but I was just wondering what was, I'm trying to think of how to say it, the most different, the most surprising to you with your experience on the show and with meeting your relatives?
What was the most surprising
or unexpected? Yeah.
What was the most unexpected?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is the news that our mother passed.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, I remember always thinking over the years that if I was ever going to have the opportunity to meet anybody, I always thought to myself, I would say, you know, such and such, if we're going to meet them, but I don't even know if they're alive. Like that was just always something, you know, I kind of always said that to myself, or even said that in communication with other people when they found out I was adopted. So I always say like, but if they're still alive. But I don't think I ever really gave that thought the credence that it deserved, because I'm not sure I ever thought that was a true possibility. And so when I found that out, it was nothing short of devastating.
Oh, heartbreaking. Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
it was devastating. It took me, you know, I don't know if you guys noticed, but when our cousin that told us on day one, which was it was a little strange because this was a family member who had never met her. So it was kind of weird, but it was so shocking that I just kind of didn't even know what to do with the information.
Right.
And then, you know, you're on camera and you kind of just don't know what to do, don't know what to say. And so by all means, I didn't mean to appear callous or like it didn't affect me. But
no, you didn't.
No, you didn't come across that way.
Okay, good. Because I just remember feeling so shocked and I didn't know what to say or do in that moment.
Right.
But by day two, I was a wreck about it. You know, like when we met our cousin Craig and he had grown up with our mother.
They
didn't show the meltdown that I had. I mean, I just lost it. I don't
blame you. Yeah. Are you can you say to them, or did you say to them, please don't show this? or are they just realize there's just some things that they probably should cut out?
Yeah, I think there was never anything that, you know, that I restricted on my part, and I don't believe Christine did either. You know, because you know, after a while you forget the cameras are there anyway, so you're just kind of just feeling what you feel. But they decide what gets aired and what gets shown. And you know, I guess when you have snot running down your face, it's not the best. You know?
Good way to avoid footage.
We didn't care because we're the same way watching.
Yeah.
But no, we don't care.
Right. That was hands down the most shocking part. Like I said, although I kind of always, I guess I left that as a possibility. I never thought I'd meet my biological family. Then I just never really thought that was a true. So it just, it was, that was hands down the thing that affected me the most, you know. So
I can imagine. Well, I think I noticed that they told everybody really early on if one of their biological parents was no longer living, and I think that was done on purpose, just so you knew that the next door was not going to have maybe somebody you would hope that was going to be. So I think that was done on purpose. Bernice, you had a question?
Well, it had to do with just exhaustion. You know, as I watched you all every day, I was wondering when do you rest? Do you ever rest? When did you go to sleep? And how did it feel after each revelation
that something was coming the next day and you would have to jump in a car and ride away and try to find where you're going?
Well, and that's a great question, because, you know, until you kind of realize what the contestants are going through, you don't realize what kind of mental and emotional fortitude that it takes to get through it. And I want to give some kudos and props to every single contestant that's been on the show, because it does, you know, it takes us having to be, well, sometimes we're not strong and you see us having meltdowns, but you know, it takes us having to really put the pedal to the metal and get out our strongest selves and get through this. And it is challenging, but we know what the result is. We know why we're doing this, and that is so much more powerful than any amount of exhaustion or any amount of a lack of sleep. You know, some people have a really hard time sleeping in other people's houses, you know.
Yes.
So luckily, I was so tired at the end of the day, I didn't have that problem, and neither did Christine. But you know, some people like can't sleep in other people's houses. So I can imagine some of the struggles that some of the contestants have. But I think, like I said, the love and the compassion and the fact that you know that you're going to meet another family member is so powerful that literally is all the fuel you need to keep going. It is very, very long days.
Yes.
You know, very late nights, but for the crew also. So you know that it's not like you're in this by yourself. The crew they're having late nights and early mornings too. So you're kind of in this together, you know, as well as the family members. You're all in this together, you know.
Yeah. Well, I always worry about y'all driving, you know, because I know you've been up half the night and then you're getting up early, and I'm like, they're so tired while they're driving, but maybe it's just adrenaline.
Well, okay, so I'm sorry, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but you said that, it reminded me, because Christine and I, she was struggling with the altitude sickness, as you guys know.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, pretty much our entire trip was somewhere elevated above sea levels. Like sometimes it was a few thousand, at times it was high as 9,000. So she kind of never got rid of like the base level nausea. And one day I gave her a motion sickness pill, and she was going to drive that day because that's just what we decided. But I accidentally gave her the one that was, it was like full on, like it wasn't non-drowsy.
Oh
no.
And she was driving and kept like dozing off, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're falling asleep. So we had to pull over and switch drivers in the middle of the desert. This is sometime in between, I think this was on our way to see our father. So we're just in the middle of the desert, you know, and we had to pull over because she was falling asleep. So, you know, I mean, things like that, they happen, you know.
Sure. I loved when you said people actually live here. I think it was like maybe your second day, and you were cold.
On purpose.
On purpose.
On purpose.
Yeah, that was Christine that said that. She made a comment. That's when we were in Breckenridge, and I love the cold, so it didn't bother me. But she was so sick, it just kind of, you know, kind of upset her whole everything. So
it was hilarious.
She was like, I can't believe people live here on purpose.
That was so funny. That was so funny. And I liked you having did you say Pamatat? What did you say? You're pammicking?
I'm pammicking.
Yes. I love that.
A panic attack. That is it's unfortunately, I had to give it its own name, you know, so. But yeah, that particular, I don't know what happened. I'm gonna tell you, that particular morning, we felt really confident, and we were coming out of Grand Junction, which now, reading from some of the fans, even the fans are like, oh my gosh, that area is so difficult to figure out, you know. And the thing I think people don't realize too is, in your own city and in your own area, you're used to seeing like regular highway signs and interstate signs.
Right.
Those highway signs and interstate signs and different things that clue you in are not the same throughout the country. It's not true. I didn't know that. Like, it's not like a standard federal law. Like, it's none of that. So we felt confident. We kind of knew where we needed to go, and then we got lost very quickly, and I completely lost my orientation. I knew that the mountains were in front of us, and that was well, it's probably not north, it's probably more west, but whatever. I knew that we weren't going in that direction. So I knew we needed to go opposite of the mountains, but we could not find the highway sign. And it was like this, it was crazy. So at the point when I felt myself starting to panic, I knew it was over after.
Well, I don't know if it happened to you all as much as the other contestants, but every single episode this year, it seems like whenever you would stop and ask a fireman or a policeman or a postman or someone to guess, nobody knew where anything was in their own town.
Unless you were JT, and then they knew.
Yeah, then
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I found that kind of weird that nobody knew where anything was in their town.
Yeah. You know what? I thought the same thing. I thought, how do you not know where you live? You know,
Yeah.
to the point where.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go. I was just gonna say, to the point where sometimes it gets frustrating because you've already stopped and asked several people.
Yes.
A couple of people were rude to us about it, so I was like, okay, you know. But it was strange that people, they literally have they could probably drive you there, but they don't know how to explain it to you.
Explain it.
Is the problem.
And you know, that's the way it was when I started driving in my hometown. I didn't know any street names. I would know to go here. I went down that street and I see this building. I turn left. I go over the railroad tracks. But I had no idea what street names were until I started to go into other places and realizing the significance of navigational tools.
Right.
Well, here in the South, when we give directions, it's always, well, you go down to this road where the store used to be. That's how we give directions here. Yeah.
We do that here.
Right.
Hey, I had another question, and it's not, I've noticed with not just y'all, with a lot of people when they first come and they're like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and this is so-and-so, and who are you related to? And they get the initial hugs out, and then it's like, yeah, what do we say to each other?
It's kind of awkward.
What do we say now?
And so I was wondering if now you feel like you could go to a total stranger's house and just sit down in their living room and find things to talk about.
Right.
It had to have been hard just to every day be that conversational. And
well, it is, and luckily I'm a little more extroverted, whereas Christine is more introverted. So it is, and even for an extrovert, people misunderstand that, because even for an extrovert, it is nerve-wracking, and it is something that is maybe out of your comfort zone. And I don't know what all I can say, but I will say that normally there was more than one take too. Exactly. So I mean, there's obviously, you guys probably know that, there's more than one. Let's repeat this type of thing.
If they didn't get it the first time. Yep.
Oh no, I didn't put that together. Okay.
Yeah.
The meeting can be the initial
redone.
Right. Well, like sometimes, a lot of times they do try to catch your initial reaction, because obviously that's what is most genuine.
Yes.
And then, through the magic of, through the magic of like editing and TV, when we do other takes, they're able to kind of like put it together.
Sure.
If you know what I mean.
Exactly.
But yes, those first meetings, they are like, that's the initial reaction. Like with us and our cousin Craig on day 2, when he was crying and he was like, why are you crying? I'm like, oh, no, you're crying. But of course, all that is real. But sometimes we have to redo certain little things, and they just kind of patch it up.
Yep, okay. Exactly. Yeah. Let's just real quick, let's talk about day 9. That was the most amazing show, and it broke records, because no team has ever gone to day 10 without a strike, which is just amazing. And I believe that if blue team wins on day 10, that's the first time blue team has won. So that will be something. This whole season has been just wonderful. You guys bonded so well, and that always it makes us, as we watch, as we see how much
fans can feel that. We can feel that. The fans
can feel that you guys have bonded, and you're just not faking it when you say, when they say, I've met my sister, I've met my father, I've met my whatever cousins. We can see that you guys are happy for each other. And that's, like Melissa said, we can feel that as we're watching. And so this season has been another one of those where, at least to the fans, it feels like you guys bonded, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's all 100% genuine. It is. We were lucky enough, our season was lucky enough to be able to spend some time together right before we started the episode, and then doing some other filming for the show. So, you know, we got to just be us off camera, and you know, maybe not every group, you know, can kind of bond. I think most of them do, you know, and I think it's a beautiful thing. But regardless of our personalities, the thing that we have in common ground is the fact that we all know what it feels like to be adopted, and to have those questions, and so we automatically bond on that issue.
Yeah, it was great.
It's a beautiful thing. It really is. And congratulations to Blue Team for being the first team to go into Dating with a Strike. That was such an accomplishment, you know?
Yeah. Well, it was also, this is the first time we get to day 9 and we know who is going to day 10. There's no question. You know, both teams, and that hasn't happened before either. So this has been quite the season for that. We always root. Is there any way all 4 teams can? We're always thinking of that math. We just want everybody to go to day 10. But I'm just grateful that y'all were able to go to day 9. That they did the golden tickets again this season. So that made me so happy that y'all got to do that.
I think you guys had so much grace and I'll just call it grace. That when you got that 3rd strike and how you handled yourselves, hats off.
Thank you very much. I mean, that's who we are, you know, so.
Yeah. And we're just going golden ticket. Yay, they've got a golden ticket. We get to see all of the relatives, because we were all rooting for day 9 to be Father's Day, you know, everybody was saying, is this going to be Father's Day? And so Stephen cracks me up, his laugh and his, you know, when they told him and they showed the scene again on day 9, they showed the scene.
Showed it twice, I think.
And when they asked if his father was still alive and they told him yes, and that giggle, that just, he was just so joyful, that giggle, you know, just cracks me up. And poor JT, they really made him because his brother comes to the door and they're like,
no,
brother, and I'm thinking they won't do that. No, relative race doesn't do this. There's going to be a dad, because they would have already told him that the dad wasn't going to be he would have already known. We would have all known, you know? And so, and so when they did that whole scene with the motorcycle coming and all that, I was like, that's the dad. And their faces when the doorbell rang, I think they knew something was up when the doorbell rang. And I think, speaking of Grace, as Laura was talking about Grace, I think he did well when it was the brother that came out of the house, because you know he really wanted his dad to come out of the house.
And that wasn't anybody's dad.
No.
So young.
And so I think he handled that well. He didn't, I mean, what we saw, I mean, they could have cut it and he might have gone, what the heck?
I don't believe it for a minute.
No, I don't think he did either. So, you know, that was so special to have him. And I think I cried for all of y'all, but I think I cried harder for him because he wait longer. So I felt so bad for him that he had to go through that. Oh, I didn't get to meet my dad. And he was talking about how, well, maybe in the future he can meet his biological dad, and you know, all that. And the brother, you could tell. I mean, of course he knew, but you could just see in his eyes. I was like, oh, he knows something. Did you guys get that feeling too?
It was Melissa, I think, that said that you knew from the house. That it wasn't, who said that you knew from the house?
Oh, no, Mary, I think, was saying that.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm looking at the house. It's like that 18-year-old doesn't live in that house by himself. So I figured there'd be somebody else.
Investigators.
Yes.
I'm like, actually, I kept kind of looking around the 18-year-old, the brother,
seeing if he was going to come from behind.
Just waiting for that door to open.
Yeah, exactly. So Stephen's biological father, he didn't know about him. Oh yeah, go ahead. I was going to come back, but go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, well, if you're going to come back, I was just going to talk about how affectionate his dad was. And how
wasn't he, though?
I found that. and he just couldn't stop touching JT or kissing his head and that just had
Exactly.
to have felt so wonderful to JT.
Especially
You know,
because his adoptive parents have both passed away, you know, he
Right,
doesn't
that's
have
what I
that
mean.
connection.
And
Yeah,
then
that
to
was
hear,
really
and
sweet.
then to hear JT's father's story.
Yes.
Oh, I know, right?
He had been in an orphanage for 7 years. He had tried
Yeah.
to commit suicide. His doctor, when he tried to commit suicide, was Dr. Angel.
Dr. Angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
you know, he had a rough way to go.
Yeah.
And then he says that he's thankful for every single day and everything, you know. And I thought, oh,
Yeah.
that's just wonderful. And I'm thinking that's going to be a great father for JT.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then like going back to Steve, they're so much alike. I mean, you could just see, even though that he was not raised with him, their personalities
Sense of humor.
their sense of humor, that kind of thing. And he says,
was like,
this is me in 40 years, you know. So that was really sweet. And he found out too that his biological dad didn't know about him either. And you know, so, and yes, Mary.
Well, that was the biological dad, Stephen's dad, said, yeah, I called her Charlotte. And it not Charlie, but her name was Charlene. So it appeared he didn't even know what her name was.
That was that was Stephen. That was Stephen's dad. Yeah. He didn't.
Right. Yeah.
He
he knew it was Char something or other, but he was calling her Charlotte.
Well, it happens, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like Stephen said, it's been 40 years.
Right.
Yeah, it's been 40 years. We can't.
yeah.
So then we go to Team Black as they're coming up that sidewalk, and you know, if it hadn't have been your biological father, I just think we all would have just gone
boycott.
But sometimes they don't want to be on camera, and so you can't make. You know, Jarrell's biological family did not want to participate, you know, and that's okay. That's okay. You know, he can contact them later perhaps or something if they're open to it. But yeah, I mean, when you said that Christine was his twin, that you weren't his twin. She's his twin. And then he goes out, I was like, yeah, the twins have finally met.
Yeah, it's the funniest thing to me because you have to understand that we, you know, our entire childhood, we're twins, but we look nothing alike. So, and my natural color is black. Her natural color is like I don't know, like a reddish brown, or actually it's like a sandy brown with a little bit of red. So even our hair color now isn't the same. But if you were to see us as kids in those pictures, we look nothing alike.
Nothing. Nothing.
So not only did we not have like family that we looked like, but we didn't even look like each other. So for me to see somebody that looks just like her, I just honestly I just thought it was hilarious, but like heartwarming at the same time. I could not believe how much they look alike. You know?
Yeah.
It was just
Absolutely.
crazy, especially when he was younger. They look like
You know?
Yeah. And you look like so much like your biological mom. And so you could just see that. It's just amazing. And your older sister too. You guys look a lot alike. So,
And that's what you guys do. It's fascinating. Genes are a funny thing, you know, and it's incredibly fascinating how they mix and I don't know what they do, but I mean they do this, you know. So it's fascinating what you guys do.
I wanted to say I was extremely very much impressed that that your dad was so open and so ready to admit some wrongdoing and ask forgiveness and, you know, all those things on camera even.
Right.
You know, and I know that he even said that, you know, there were some things he wants to talk to you personally and things like that. But just to do what he did on camera takes a big man to do that.
You're right. You're exactly right. And I appreciate him for that. You know, that's not easy to do. And it takes a certain kind of person to be able to open up to complete strangers, really.
Yes.
And so that was wonderful of him to be able to do that for himself and do that for us.
Yeah, because you could tell
Yeah.
he had been carrying that around
Right.
all this time, and he even
Right.
said that
Right.
it was a release for him, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's great for him and for you guys. That it's I don't know
Right.
I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that
Yeah.
reunion. I think the
Yeah.
most because
Mhm.
it seemed
Well, thank
so
you.
so closing and so I don't know, just
Right.
I don't know. It
And
was
it was
just
and it
amazing.
was honest. He could have just come up with a
Yes.
bunch of
yeah.
excuses and but he owned it. He owned his mistakes. And so that was good. I think that was really, really good. So
And what
have
I
you
thought was
seen
so-
him since then? Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Laura.
I was just going to say,
Have-
what I thought was also really cool is how you both, and I think Christine said it first, but that you were there for answers, for understanding, and
Mhm.
not for apologies, and not to be able to, I thought that was so cool
Yeah.
because I think viewers can really get wrapped up in the drama. And
Mhm.
really that wasn't the point of the quest.
Mhm.
The point of the quest was getting answers, and y'all had said that from the beginning. So I loved how you brought it back around to that original intent when you had those moments with him. And I'm sorry, Cheri, you were going to say something.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'm just wondering, have you guys been able to get back together, or have you seen each other?
Excuse me. So Christine, before, as a lot of people know, she ended up moving down to Mississippi, where I am.
Mhm.
After the show. So before she moved down to Mississippi, after the show, she was able to go see him in Vegas.
Oh.
So she went to go see him for just like a couple of days and spent a little time with him before she moved down here. I have not seen him since the show. We do talk sometimes, probably not as much as we want to. The time difference does make it difficult.
Yeah.
Because when I'm getting off of work or whatever, they're eating dinner and going to bed, so it's like,
Right.
it is difficult, but we do communicate, through calls and text and Facebook Messenger and things like that. But there are plans in the works. I am going to go up there after Christmas to see him and his wife and my other siblings. So that's already in the works. So
that's great.
Speaking of calling, I really loved that your parents got to call you in the car when you were driving. That was wonderful that they allowed that phone call so that you had that support from them. And I love how supportive they seem to be of you taking that journey. So I loved that. And
it was a nice surprise. We didn't know about it. So, and I know there was some discussion about whether or not it was fair, on the fan page, but I chose not to get involved in that discussion. As
good for you.
Good for you.
Because I just kind of read some other people's opinions and this, that, and the other, and everybody's entitled to what they think. But it wasn't something we asked for, but it was much appreciated. And I don't know what else to say about that,
things change from season to season. They're not always the same. And so I just saw it as a fun thing that they did this season. I didn't see it as,
And I think you hit the nail on the head, Miss Cheryl, when you just said that, is that just like everything else in life, this show is about evolution, and it has evolved over the years.
It has.
It sure has.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we find ourselves all the time asking, did they do that before? Have they done this before? Because, things are changing, and they do this year, because I've only watched the 2 other seasons and then this season. But I noticed that the phone calls are new to me. The last couple seasons, I don't remember them doing phone calls in the car like this. So, but I like them adding things that are different because it makes it exciting and different. It's not the same old, same old. And so I like that.
Bernice, did you want to say something?
No.
I thought you were trying to.
I was just, one of the things that I did enjoy about the show was that they did bring in the adopted family.
Always.
Parents.
They've been doing that the last couple of years.
But every time they do it, I said that's wonderful because you see that support from the parents.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think that's an aspect of the show that needs to continue.
I do too.
I do too, and for a couple of reasons, because one, I think it's a fuller story for the viewers.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's not limiting the world to the people in the car and opening the doors. We're kind of getting this better context. And then it's so educational for us to see how the people at home, the supporters and stuff, can be involved in the race. Or I guess I don't want to say race there, because I don't think it was, Pamela, about giving an edge or not giving an edge. I think they wanted that story arc to be in there.
Exactly.
Well,
I think that you're right.
It's like when they showed Jarrell talking to his mom and his adoptive mom, and how she was encouraging him and supporting him, and and so I just think that adds to it, and I think it's a good thing that they do that.
Yeah, and I think people at home would wonder otherwise. Okay, what are these people at home? What are their adoptive family thinking?
Right. Exactly, because the first few seasons they just never really mentioned it, and I think that people that have never spoken to people that I've got adoptive kids, I've got biological kids, I think sometimes people get a weird kind of thought about adoption, and now these guys have to go find their real families because there was something wrong with it. That kind of thing. So I think it's been nice to see that it's all family. It's just adding to your family. Yeah. So the first time they did that, I think was last season?
It was last season.
I started bawling. I was like, oh my gosh, I am so happy that they are talking about their families, the people that raised them. I just really appreciate that. And I appreciate how many times that y'all said in the car, our families that raised us, our mom and our dad, because so many people just don't get that.
Right.
So I always
a lot of people haven't been exposed to that. Like, for instance, myself, I've never, there's no one in my family that's been adopted. I know, I've researched my family and there's no adoptions that I know of. But so it's great for people like me who are watching the show and can get a sense of the adoptive families, and I don't know, it just comes across as everyone is in support of these contestants finding their families, reconnecting with families, and also bringing along their adoptive families, and it being just everyone getting along, in this world of everybody not getting along.
That's true. It's true.
That is very true. That is very true. So Dan kept asking, is it worth it? So was it worth it? Of course it was worth it, right? Yeah. It was worth it, right?
It was more than worth it. It was worth the time off of work. And although I missed my husband and my kids terribly, because the other contestants, they're with their significant others. I went with my sister, which was important, but I had to from my husband. So it was worth every bit of it, and I would do it. I would do it again. It was I can't even from the very first contact, the first phone call, the first email saying, hey, this is the show, we do relative race, would you guys be interested in coming on? I was flabbergasted, but it was always a yes, 100%, from the very first contact. It was so worth it. I can't believe that this is what my life has afforded me. I mean, honestly, I can't believe it, because I was just telling my sister, Monique, my older sister, the other day, I said, I feel like we were this close to never finding you guys, because we're already, middle-aged. This much time has passed already. And I had already settled on the fact that I guess I'm never going to know. I guess I'm just never going to know, because 40 years have passed, I tried to look. I scoured the internet. I've used every keyword I could think of. I've seriously spent some time researching, and so have they. And it never even. And Christine and I even did the ancestry before the show, and it never led anywhere. I emailed everybody that pinged on our little whatever genes. Nobody knew anything. So when you feel like you've exhausted all your possibilities, and then a show contacts you and says, we'll do all the work if you want to come be on our show, a question of whether or not it's worth it Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? I mean, it
Exactly.
was worth every single second.
Yep.
Every single
Wow.
second.
That's beautiful. So again, you didn't apply for the show. They came and found you.
They did. And I don't even know if they want people to know that, but
Oh, no, it's okay. Jarrell told us that.
Jarrell
That's how
told
they
us the
got
same
on.
thing.
Everybody already
okay,
knows
good.
now.
Okay, good.
Yeah. In fact, Jarrell said that they had contacted him and he refused them. And
The
then the
first
second
time.
time, because he thought it was a scam.
Oh, right.
He didn't know, he said he didn't even respond because he thought.
Yeah,
was
because he
scam.
thought it was a scam.
Right. And
So the
here I
second
am.
time he decided to just check it out.
That's
Yeah.
so funny. Here I am. I'm so gullible. I'm like, yeah, come pick me up right now. Let's go. I'll go pack my bag right now. Let's go. Like, but so they did. They found us through an adoption registry page that I had filled out about 15 plus years ago. It's been a long time.
Wow.
I've not even been on that page to update my any information. Like, it still has my maiden name. Luckily, I still have the same email and the same phone number, but literally about 15 years ago, I filled this registry page out and never touched it again. And they found us because of that page, which, I think we all are in agreement now that we believe our mom divinely led them to find that page.
I'm sure she did.
Yeah.
I'm sure she did. Wow.
It was like a needle in a haystack type of thing. But at the same time, I don't mean to diminish their work. They are absolute professionals, and they know what to do to find people. So I'm not diminishing the work that they put into it.
No, we didn't take it that way at all. No.
No. In fact, I think that we should tell Dan that it would make a great backstory to know how to know these stories, how they connected, because that's a story in itself.
Oh,
how
absolutely.
they connected with the contestants. Especially this season, since we're finding out, because I think in past seasons we've heard them say
Tristan needs to get her own show.
Yeah.
So I found all the relatives, how our team did this. That would be really funny. That'd be great.
Yeah.
We'd all watch it because we'd all want to know, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about the results real quick. So, we already know who's going to day 10.
Yeah.
Team blue or team green, but what we didn't know is who was going to get the stakes, right?
Right, the stakes.
That was the benefit or the reward of coming in first place.
But for all the relatives they visited all season long. It wasn't just for the people in the household on day 9.
Exactly. That's a lot of stakes. And so, like Stephen said, we need to win these stakes. It's for the stakes and for our pride.
Well, and I loved how JT said something about, I'm really glad you've offered to cook our steaks for us. And
him and Green Team were going back and forth.
Yeah.
Those tweets. So Pamela, I'm thinking about those tweets. You guys must have had so much fun with those tweets. Nobody was taking any of that stuff really seriously. So
No, not at all. It was a lot of fun, and it was a nice, it kind of gives us a little comic relief from the stressors of traveling and navigation, and just, making sure you don't miss this turn. So we could kind of joke around with each other. It just kind of, it was a nice comic relief for us to say, hey, you know what, this is all about having fun also.
Exactly. We love to watch them. We think it's really funny to watch y'all do that because we know it's all in fun. It's all in fun. So there's Dan, he comes, and everybody, what I really wish they had done though, Pamela, I wish they had told them on camera that y'all had met your biological father as well.
Yeah, I wish they had done that.
I really wish they had done that.
I know.
That would have.
Yeah. Me too. I won't lie. There's a few things throughout the season watching it because, it's weird when you experience the whole part of it, but only some of it's getting shown.
Yeah.
So there's a few things that I was like, that could have, I wish that would have been a little bit different, but, again, how can I wish for anything when I was fell in my lap and I was given this anyway,
Exactly.
But it would have been nice for them to be able to share in that with us.
Yes. I was sad about that. Laura, you were going to say something?
You shared on the Fans of Relative Race Facebook group that there was a GIF that got cut in the editing. Do you want to share about that?
Oh, the GIF that I posted?
Yes.
Okay, sure. So do you want me to get it?
Do you have it?
Sure.
It's right here. It's right here. Hold on. I love it. I can't believe it. I love it. I love it.
Well, while she's getting her gift, Stephen got a gift. He got a scrapbook with all the
That's right.
information.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
other thing that I thought was cool about Stephen was he saw the mailbox had the last
Yes.
name through it
Yes.
before he got
He's
there.
like, "Shh, it says Pruitt. It says Pruitt." Okay. So what was your gift? Show us all.
So there was, there were a lot of pictures that were held on to all these years, which is amazing to me because as we all
yeah.
know, pictures don't always keep,
That's true.
they get that weird discoloration, they get
Yeah,
wet, they get moist. I mean, anything can happen to them. Pictures don't just keep like that. So it's amazing that I found out that our father actually took the picture when we were babies, but that our mom and our sisters held on to the picture forever. And after our mom passed away, they still held on to everything.
Yes.
So we have this picture of, that is, let's see, of course, that's Monique.
Yeah.
That's me. And then that's Christine.
Yeah.
And I mean,
that's beautiful.
Monique had that picture made into a canvas for us and presented that to us on our day with her. Oh, sorry.
You're fine. You're all good.
That's how we do it like that in the South too, by the way.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Unnecessary tailpipes. But anyway.
Exactly.
That picture just, I mean, you have to understand that we didn't even, I mean, just the fact that that part in our life we didn't even know about. Nobody knew about that we've known. So the fact that they've held on to this, and then the way she's just looking at us and the way that we're looking at her.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful.
I know.
Yeah.
It just really solidifies the natural connection that we have because it's always been there, and that picture proves it.
It's beautiful. I was so glad you shared it on the Facebook page. And we're always telling people that watch GenFriends, if you're not on that Fans Relative Race page and you're a fan of Relative Race, you need to get on there because they're giving you guys so many pictures this season to post that they haven't done before either. So
right.
It's so wonderful to see some more of the background of what happened during the day. So that's wonderful too. All right, let's get back to those results. Although I just want to talk to you about this. Results. So 60 seconds, guys. 60 seconds between first and second place. That is unbelievable considering they both struggled with
they did.
The challenge was funny. The challenge was funny as they were trying to walk across those beams. And then of course Team Green had their benefit that they could take one thing off. And so of course they did the heavy bowling ball. But so they kind of had the advantage with that, but that was hard. They kind of struggled with that, and then not being able to find the house. And so for twice, because Team Blue came in first last day, but they had to switch because they had to move. Yeah. So finally Team Blue gets first place. And no strikes. They had no strikes. That is just amazing. So in future seasons, that's something that people know is possible, and they're going to want to break that. Yeah, they're going to want to be the next team.
Yeah, both teams played a fantastic game, and I'm proud of. I mean, I'm proud of both of them. We're proud of both of them. I'm so happy for both of them, and I can't wait to see day 10. So
that's going to be great, and they're doing it right outside of Prescott, Arizona, which means it's going to be hot. And I'm thinking, dude ranch, maybe.
That's what they said. Their big ranch.
Yeah, maybe they're going to be roping some cattle, or who knows, or riding a bull. Who knows what they're going to do.
Oh, that would be funny to see Steve doing a bull ride.
Yeah.
Well, they did a ranch not last year or the year before. So it'll be
a ranch.
Yeah, I mean they had those guys had to do the cows. They had to use the cutting horses and get the cows in the pen. So
I forgot about that.
And they said it was going to be. I mean, Dan said the theme of it is food. So
that's right. It might be a bunch
of
food again.
I wonder if they'll have to eat cacti. You see why I don't plan the shows.
You don't plan the shows. Oh my goodness. Is there anything anybody else wanted to ask Pamela before we go? Or Pamela, is there anything that you wish had been on the show that wasn't, besides that picture? Is there something that you wish that had happened that people don't know about that you would like to share with us?
I think, well, like I said, I don't want to diminish or take away from any plan that the show had, but I do wish that when they told us that our mother had passed away, that it would have come from like one of our sisters.
I got you.
I understand that they did it in whatever way they felt necessary, but I wish that we could have experienced that moment together.
I see.
But
Yes.
yeah, but nonetheless, I'm grateful and thankful for it all. I like I said, I can't believe we even got picked for this, and I'm so thankful for everything. I know, thank you. I'm so grateful for what you guys are doing, and constantly just analyzing things and going over things, and what you guys do as genealogist professionals. And I mean, this is all, none of it would really be possible with all these moving parts, and I'm so grateful for every one of you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing your story and being brave enough to get before cameras to do it.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It was my honor.
Well, thank you. And tell Christine we're so sad that she wasn't able to join us. You should have made a little dummy for her like you did.
Quite a while first.
You should have made a little dummy. Remember that you did a TV show with that little dummy? That was so funny. That was
hilarious. And well, I thought about doing that again, but I had given her the picture. I should have kept it. She could have been sitting right next to me the whole time. That was so cool.
That was hysterical. Well, tell her we missed her. We would have loved to have heard from her some of her experiences, but we understand not everybody's schedule meshes together. And so, but we appreciate you being on tonight.
Thank you so much. You're welcome. And I'm trying to get her for the, make sure she gets to the next one.
Okay, awesome. That would be great. Yes. We got a good next one. Well, with that, we are excited for day 10 to see who wins the $50,000. And it is crowned the winner of Relative Race. So that's going to be really fun. And it's like one of those seasons where there's not a team you're rooting for everybody.
Yeah,
rooting for everybody. So with that, we'd like to thank you all for watching GenFriends, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.